You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today on this Total Wellness Tuesday, I want to take you through some really groundbreaking news. Just about 2 weeks ago, they announced the Nobel Prize winners. And believe it or not, there was a Nobel Prize in medicine given away for a Japanese researcher. He's actually a cell biologist for autophagy. Now, you've heard me mention it before in the podcast. You probably never heard of this word before in your life, and it's really amazing. So first, I want to give the researcher and the biologist credit. His name is Yoshinori Usimi. I hope I pronounced that correctly. My Japanese is obviously terrible. So his research, not only is it groundbreaking in terms of like our state-of-the-art type medicine, but it reconfirms what we've known for hundreds of years in naturopathic or natural hygienist medicine, and then it reconfirms what we've known for 6,000 years in Ayurvedic medicine. So it gives credence to saying, like, just because it isn't proven by science yet doesn't mean it doesn't exist or it's not true, because all of this stuff was talked about 6,000 years ago, and now it's taken until 2016 to actually prove it, right? So I just find that amazing. And so when we look at this, like, what is autophagy? Why does this even matter? You know, what's all this talk when I talk about detoxification, all those things? Well, here's what it is. Think of autophagy as your blood and sending in little Pac-Man. So I don't know how old or how young you have to be to not know what Pac-Man is, but basically Pac-Man's this little cartoon type thing that's animated, and it's a circle with a little triangle cut out, and it just goes around and eats up all the different things like for the game, right? So that's how you have to think of it, like cell biology, your immune system, how your body functions, how it detoxifies. Meaning if you give it time and your body has the strength, it can clean itself up. That's what autophagy is. It basically breaks down, recycles, cleans house. It's another way of thinking about it is this, is you leave for the weekend, but you turn on one of those little robot discs that you put on the ground called like a Roomba. I don't even know if it's called that. I think it is. And it literally goes around and it bounces off objects and it cleans all the dust and the dog hair and the cat hair and all that stuff off your floor. That's what it would be. But you have to leave the house because you can't keep creating more toxins in your body. So when I talk about the detox, like all of this stuff is true. It's just, it's very early. It's in its infant stages. So nobody really knows about it. And I'm trying to get it to you before it becomes really mainstream. And then everybody rips it off. And through marketing and media, they create terrible detox and all of these different things. But here's the thing. Herbert Shelton, that's where I originally learned this. So first I learned about Ayurveda, yes, but I learned it from one of the old school natural hygienists named Herbert Shelton, and he wrote so many different books, but he took 30,000 people, not 30,000 appointments, 30,000 people, and fasted them over a period of, I don't know what it was, I think it was like 30 years. Like he did it for a while. Just water fast, but keep in mind, this is 100 years ago. Doing a water fast today, I've done one myself. I don't know if it's the safest anymore because 100 years ago, you certainly were not exposed to over 77,000 man-made chemicals in the environment. So what happens now is if you're on a water fast and you are literally releasing these toxins now into your body because no new stuff is coming in because you're not eating, nothing like that's happening, and your body's trying to detoxify then, it can be overwhelming. And that's called the Herxheimer reaction. That's when people get some like acne or breakouts, or they might get headaches, they might get lightheaded, they might get fatigued, they might get like a fever or cold or shivers, any of those things. And So what I say is, let's take this to modern day. Let's take this to 2016. And so when I talk about a detox, it's not a juice cleanse. That's not the same thing. Now, a detox is you give your body the support it needs through what's called phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification, so that as your body's completing its own natural process. Remember, I'm never playing the geneticist. I'm not telling your body what to do. All I care about is supporting your body so that it can do what it already knows how to do. That's what natural medicine is, right? Natural medicine is not replacing necessarily. It's giving your body what it needs more of and helping your body take some stuff out, but on its own, in its own way, so that it just has the support to do so. So with autophagy, what happens is this, very, very simply. You have to go on some type of liquid fast. So what we do for the first 2 days of the detox is we just do 4 shakes a day every 3.5 hours. So nobody's hungry. We still get enough amino acids and protein in the body. So we're not lowering metabolism. We're not lowering thyroid, any of those types of things. And we're also giving the B vitamins, the vitamin C, the selenium, all the different components you need for phase 1 of phase 2 liver detoxification. You don't need to know what that is, but you need to know this. When your body's detoxifying, it's going to take these harmful fat-soluble metabolites. So basically, as your fat's being broken down, as you're losing body fat, the toxins in the body fat where it stores it, because it's kind of a safe place, it's 300 times more toxic than the blood. It releases those now into the blood. Okay, no problem as long as you have the support to clean house. And you do have to get those out of your body eventually. So you give it the support, it takes it into the liver, it converts those then from phase 1 to phase 2, so an intermediate metabolite, and then a harmful water-soluble metabolite, and then you can just pee it out, you can poop it out, you can sweat it out. It's, pretty easy stuff. So that is what autophagy is. It is the process of your body cleaning house when you're not putting anything new in. So let's say that you never want to do a detox. Fully understand, it's not for everyone, okay? What you can do is this. You can do what I always recommend, almost to 99 out of 100 people in my practice, okay, is the 12-hour overnight fast. The research is just mounting up. Doing a daily 12-hour fast will not only keep you healthier, will not only lower your chances of disease or eliminate disease that you do have, but it will also allow you to live longer. Here's why. When you go for that 12 hours, now keep in mind 12 hours is easy. I'm going to explain it right now. Please go back to previous podcasts because I talk about this in depth. I'm not going to talk about the 12-hour podcast, the 12-hour podcast, the 12-hour fast in depth. Why? Because that was a whole 10-minute show. Here's all you need to do. Finish dinner 2 to 3 hours before bed. Okay, you're going to be in bed for about 8 hours. So that's going to be right there about 10 to 11 hours. Once you wake up, you can have a glass of water, maybe squeeze some lemon in, maybe squeeze a little lemon and a little pinch of sea salt if you're low adrenal fatigue. And then an hour later, you're going to have breakfast. That's 12 hours. It's that easy. Just don't eat right before bed. And you've already done your 12-hour fast. Stay in bed for 8 hours. Wait an hour upon waking before you actually have your meal, your smoothie that I recommend. And then if you do your smoothie, it only compounds that because now you're having 24 ounces of fluid coming from just some berries or low glycemic fruit, and you're having some, obviously, a couple cups of water in there, or half almond milk, or half, unsweetened nut milk and water, and you're just flushing your system. I mean, it works so phenomenally well. It's the cornerstone of what I do in my natural medical practice, and I share it with everyone. Literally, I share what I do for free, hoping that other practitioners will, not just the ones that I coach, others will catch on. They will do this, and they will. More people will start doing this because it works so incredibly well. And it's so inexpensive. For $2 for a shake in the morning that has all your multivitamin and everything, I mean, I think it's incredible. So you do your 12 hours, you do your smoothie, that's a huge part of it, even if you never do a detox. But you have to know this, that autophagy is taking place the entire time overnight. After the foods move through your stomach, you're going to get some time then where your body's going to digest the food. It's not going to have any more toxins coming in, especially if you have leaky gut or intestinal permeability, that your body can then start to clean house. Literally, let's say you have this, this big, let's think of it as like a fish tank, and you see all sorts of like old food and stuff in the water, and you go in there and you're in there with a net and you're just pulling out, or like a swimming pool and like pollen falls in it. You're in there, you're scooping the pollen out, right? Or the old fish food out. because you know that that's going to create bacteria in the water, and that's going to be harmful to either the fish or the human swimming in the water. But what happens if you have a tree right above it and the tree just keeps dropping pollen in? Well, the only way you're going to not get more pollen is you have to stop the pollen. You have to literally stop that pollen from coming in, or stop yourself from pouring fish food into the tank and give yourself the time to clean it out. That's what autophagy is. That's probably a pretty bad analogy, but hopefully you're starting to get my gist of really we need to give the body time to rest. We need to not always be eating every second of the day. And when we do that, the body knows what to do, how to do it, as long as it has the proper micronutrients, not macronutrients, which are protein, carbs, and fat. Micronutrients, meaning like your vitamin C, your chromium, your selenium, your glutamine, your glycine, all your B vitamins, all those great things. That's what your body needs. If you give it that, it will take care of itself. I really, really believe that. Of course, eat your good fruits and vegetables. That's the cornerstone of a good, healthy lifestyle and protocol. It's not meat. It's not lots of starches. You can have those things if you choose to, but the cornerstone for all humans alive are meant to eat good, healthy, plant-based foods. There's no diet, there's no research in the world that doesn't show that that is the cornerstone of really good health. You can look at keto diets, you can look at all these specific things, but what they're lacking is good long-term, not disease-specific. I'm not talking about using it for cancer. I'm not talking about using it for Parkinson's. I'm talking about for overall health. Your body needs antioxidants, it needs phytonutrients, and it needs the things that we don't even know about in 2016 that are contained in organic, non-GMO fruits and vegetables. Remember, we are infants in terms of science. We think we know so much. We don't. We can't recreate an apple yet. We have no idea the components that really go into that and the phytonutrients, all the different stuff that allow our bodies to be healthy by eating those foods. So let's not kid ourselves. We know a lot. I'm not saying that we don't. We know about these things like autophagy now, right? But we have to go back to what has worked for thousands of years and millennia, and that is eating a good, healthy, easy to digest, plant-based diet. And then I'll let everyone argue over the rest about the fish, the proteins, the meats, the starches, all those other things. You'll be doing just fine if you make 60 to 80% of your diet produce, fruits and vegetables. All right. Hopefully that is enough for today. Hopefully you understand now why I'm so passionate about detoxification. It's taken a Nobel Prize, I think, to really get this out in the media, but you can say you heard it here first when you heard about the word autophagy, because it will start to become mainstream. Whenever there's a Nobel Prize winner in it, of course, it's going to go mainstream. You'll see it in Time Magazine. You'll see it in all sorts of different articles, and people will be like, oh, well, how can we create pharmaceutical drug or these certain things to create autophagy? You don't need to do it. You need to learn how to do a 12-hour and then maybe a 1-day or 2-day or 3-day liquid fast. And again, you don't have to use the Dr. Cabral Detox, but if you want to know how I do it specifically, you can just go to drcabraldetox.com. And again, even if you decide not to use it, totally fine. Just look at how I do it. It's all spelled out there. It's completely free to look at how I do it, and I did that for a reason. My goal is I understand that I'm not going to be able to work with every person in the world, but hopefully, as much as I can, I'm going to try to get my information. Again, it's not even my information. I'm trying to get the information out to as many people as possible. Thank you once again for listening. I also appreciate each and every one of you who spread the word, who spread my mission, who spread all of our mission, our community's mission, to get more of the world healthier and less people off or less people on pharmaceutical drugs, just living a healthier overall life. Thank you once again. Did you know that the body really only becomes sick or imbalanced in only 2 ways? Over time, you become deficient in vital nutrients, and you also accumulate toxins internally and from the environment. As those nutrients diminish and you increase your total toxic load, your body then begins to show the first signs of dis-ease. It's actually quite predictable, and the good news is that if we know how you began to fill up that proverbial rain barrel, we also know how to empty it to begin the healing process. I was fortunate enough to learn this ancient healing process from my mentor after suffering from debilitating diseases for close to a decade. It was only when I began to implement these techniques did I finally overcome my illnesses and go on to live a life of energy and vitality that I now enjoy. I'd like to share with you now what I discovered after traveling all over the world and how to combine the best of ancient healing wisdom with state-of-the-art science. Allow me to teach you exactly how I've been able to help over 250,000 people to empty their rain barrel and begin to transform their body and lives into what they've always hoped they could be. To get your copy of the international bestseller,
the rain barrel effect, simply go to stephencabral.com/rain barrel.